Today's gonna be more of like a talking video to show like how learning different things took me to where I am now regarding basics of anatomy a little bit. For those of you doing the Notion with us, for basics of anatomy, I forgot to include a tutorial under resources I used to learn this. There are two things that helped me. The one that's on there, fundamentals of drawing, and then also this. These are my notes on how I learned to draw different body parts in the simplest form. I learned it through one of Sam Does Art's Patreon tutorials. It's on his Gumroad, so I'll just list that below. I learned how to draw the head, the hair, torso, the arms, male arm, and then the legs. And this was in October. When I first learned Sam Does Art's tutorial stuff, I kind of knew like the basic shapes of each thing. So that was the first thing that I learned. Like the head was a sphere with like a cone. The arms, legs are kind of like cylinders, and the joints are like balls. And something else that was interesting was like if one side of the arm is curved, then the other side should be straight. It looks more appealing to the eye to look at. It's like good design fundamentals or whatever. So anyways, I did some really awkward photo studies after I took those lessons. So I did this one, and then I also did this one, which is cool. I feel like I was able to I feel like I was able to see each body part a little more, except my proportions and like my total understanding of how body parts connected were still a little off. Like, yeah, I don't know. Also, having a reference helped. You should always be using references, apparently. So I try to do my own practices. Although it looks mostly correct, I feel like her torso was a little too long. One of her knees was longer than the other. Like, I was still struggling. And then sometimes it wouldn't look too bad. And then other days it'd be like, oh, what the heck is happening? Especially when the people were wearing loose clothing. It was really hard for me to imagine what was happening underneath the clothing. That stuff was all really difficult. I had a lot of I hate this drawing moments. This was last October. I still have those moments. Those moments have not gone away. I don't know where her crotch really is here. After some practice, some of the stuff was getting a little bit easier. In this one, I felt like there's a bit more understanding. After taking Sam Does Art's tutorial, I could imagine the body a little bit behind that jacket. It was better than, you know, this one where I couldn't really imagine it at all. This one was a little easier. Maybe it's because she's standing up straight. There was also this one. Still looks a little funky. Her legs look really small compared to her upper body. I was slowly starting to understand. Some days it just wouldn't work out at all. This was around the end of October. I did a lot of practicing. I tried drawing more people together, but you could see like there's some things I understood and some things I didn't. Her forearm is a little too big for her arm. There's like a weird connect. I don't know what her thighs are doing, but I can't tell the difference between the two thighs. Probably because I didn't know where to put it. Oh my god. Some drawings felt like it was going right. I mean, her face is really weird. She looks really stiff, but like look at this leg. Like I think I just totally gave up. I didn't even finish it. I don't know where it was going. This was in January. I kind of understood the body a little more. I think it's also because she's standing up straight. Oh, you know what? Before those January ones, I did a lot on my tablet. You could always tell like, oops, something was always like a little off. Like her shoulders are really stiff. I don't think her chest is in the right area. This one's not too bad. You guys have seen this one. It's just always like, it's almost there, but the lack of knowledge, it shows because some things just look a little awkward. And then there's this one right here. This arm, the other side shouldn't have this weird bump. It should be pretty much straight because like, I mean, the muscles are up here. But even the muscles look funny. The curves aren't in the right areas. After watching Sam Does Art's tutorial, I understood how things should look individually. And so when I put things together, they were slightly in a place that they didn't belong. Even this one, this head is obviously way too big. Her hands look a little funky, and her boobs are just in a really awkward place. Watch the struggle. So I drew like the portions a bit, then I fix it. I mean, that's what sketching is. You just keep making things better and better. But like if this is like the right direction and this is not knowing, and I'm right here with the sketching, I feel like I'm going instead of getting closer to like a more accurate representation of what a human body looks like because of my lack of knowledge. This was also done in December. Not bad, right? Sometimes things weren't too bad. I don't think I would draw it like that because it just looks so stiff. The body anatomy for the most part looks alright. This one was my favorite one at the time. I felt like I was kind of understanding a little more. It wasn't that I understood body anatomy more, it was more I understood, thinking back from Sam's tutorials, how he taught us individual body parts. I was able to see those body parts in reference photos better. And that way I was able to take my slowly newfound knowledge into my drawings. In January, I took the basics of anatomy part of fundamentals of drawing. These are my notes. It's dated January up here, and I had all this stuff. The free alternatives, packed with a lot of knowledge, in Maria's version, kind of just goes straight to the point instead of building from the skeleton. Since that's how he taught it, you guys kind of had to learn it from the skeleton to build it to the end part. For the sake of your sanity, I would recommend to go with fundamentals of drawing, basics of anatomy. Even here, I wouldn't apply everything. I think the more important thing was that I was able to understand more, not all. I practiced like full body again, but then I got frustrated because I didn't understand how to color or shade. Body anatomy felt a little more right. I was like, hey, I think I'm kind of understanding it, but I didn't know how to color or do lighting, and we'll get to that later. This one was done in March. It looks better, but I think like at this point I just needed to practice what I knew now. When I was doing this drawing, this is so dark, I knew new things. I know I said draw it till memorization. My memory is really bad, so I like to refer to my notes. The guy in the video said to do it until you memorize it, and he's like a professional, and I'm guessing that should be the standard. So don't use me, I'm a bad student. I have my notes, okay? I'm using my notes. I'm gonna use my notes. I wish I had the video of how I drew this one, because I think I did use like the body proportions, like 8 heads or something like that. I don't think I use 8 heads because I don't really like how long that is. So this was created in February. Oh boy, I mean, her face, her smile makes her look like a titan, and her left boob is definitely sagging, but her pose looks a lot more natural. Her body looks a lot more natural. The problem is I couldn't understand color. There's definitely a lot more that went into my practice that got me to be able to do sketches like this, or like something like this. I mean, I still have fails. I think this was a slight fail, so I couldn't keep going. I was losing my mind with this one. Even this one, ooh, that one was bad, and the colors were just bad. I'm not a fan of this one. This was done in June 3rd. It's a little hard to say that after learning basics of anatomy, you're gonna be, why am I always so zoomed in? Okay, anyways, so it's a little hard to say that after learning this, just the basics of anatomy, you'll be like completely set. It's just another step to be able to draw bodies. I want to get you excited that you have now more information to be able to get better. And like I said, when I did my sketches early on after finishing this, like sometimes they'll turn out good. I'll go into the coloring phase. I'll try to color and do my lighting, but then it would turn out so bad and I'd get so discouraged. But I wish I could go to that self and be like, it turned out bad, not because you're not making any progress, but because you just don't know that knowledge yet. And you'll get there when I do my practices and I look at my photos. You start to see these things that you learned and be able to apply it to your work. For example, that's what I drew, right? But in my reference, I see it. So this is the head. Another head down is where the nipples are. And if you go another head down, that's basically where the belly button is. And you go another head down, and that's basically where the crotch is. I'm gonna tell you right now, it wasn't instant. It took months. You just kind of keep practicing. Good luck. Don't forget to keep submitting your homework. I see that more of you guys are submitting your homework. Let me move to the side and show you. Good job. I'm very proud of you guys. It's really exciting to see that you are putting in the practice to make your art better. Check out their courses. Go get yourself excited for that art competition. Okay, I'm gonna go now.